Hi, I'm Pippa from Craft Pixie, and this is my basic overlay mosaic crochet tutorial. So I'm going to show you how to read a pattern, and this pattern you can actually download it for free. I'll put the link in the description, and I'm also going to make the sample. If you want to, you can crochet along with me, and I'll be able to show you all the different techniques. But lots of people ask or wonder what overlay mosaic crochet actually is. Overlay mosaic crochet is a simple technique that allows you to create colourful designs without having to change colour mid-row. And as the name suggests, a stitch from a previous row is overlaid across the current stitch, or it's left uncovered, which makes it visible. So although the designs look really complicated, honestly, they're not. Let's get crocheting, and then I can introduce you to all of the different methods and techniques, prove to you that it is actually really simple. So this is a typical Craft Pixie pattern. If you look on the right, you can see there's a column saying row. The rows go from one to the end of the line, which implies that you're going to be working the design from bottom to top. Also, if you look on the outside, you'll see there's another column that says colour, and this alternates between A and B, and this means that every row is worked in a different colour. Now you're going to ask me, how am I going to do that? Well, here's the first rule. What you're going to do is you work a row, you cut the yarn, you secure it, and you start again at the beginning. And this also means that you will always be working with the right sides facing. If we look on the bottom, we can also see that there's a number here that goes from 1 to 23. You're going to be working each stitch from right to left. So you'll be reading the chart from right to left. Now, if you're a left-hander, you can still read the chart from right to left if it's symmetrical. But if it's something like a letter or an asymmetric design, then read the chart from left to right. You'll also see there's a column that says border here, BSS and BSE. That stands for, if we look at my key, border stitch start and border stitch end. And at the beginning, very beginning and very end of a design, or a row I should say, you'll be working your starting border stitch and your ending border stitch. I'll show you a bit about that later on. You may have also seen that some of the boxes are empty and some have a cross. Again, if we look at the key, an empty box means you're going to single crochet in the back loop of the stitch, and these are American terms, so double crochet in UK terms, or you're going to double crochet in the front loop of the stitch 2 rows below, or if you're UK notation, that's a triple crochet. That's noted with a cross. Some people get a bit overwhelmed with the chart, with all the symbols and the colours, so my advice is go from row to row. You may even want to cover each row as you go, and just concentrate on what stitch you're doing, what that box contains. Is it a blank? Then you're going to be doing a single crochet in the back loop of the stitch, and if it's a cross, you're going to be doing a double crochet in the front loop of the stitch 2 rows below. But don't worry, we're going to do this together, so I'm going to show you all these different techniques. So we're going to make this pattern, and it's free down in the descriptions. We're going to start by making a chain. Now, in a Craft Pixie pattern, I always put in how to calculate the starting chain. This is in both the chart and the written instructions. So the number of chain here will be the number of pattern repeats times 23. Now this 23 is because my design is 23 stitches wide. I'm going to do 1 repeat, so I only want 1 23, but you know, you times it by however many repeats you want. and then you're going to add 2 for the border stitches and 1 for a turning chain. So for my particular design I wanted 23 plus 2 plus 1 is 26. So I'm going to get on and chain 26. I've chained 26. Now I'm going to work back from the second chain from the hook. This chain here is your turning chain. I know I prefer to work in the back bumps, and I will always say work into back bumps, but you can do whatever you like. I just find I like the effect, the edge of it. So in the second chain from the hook you're going to work a single crochet all along, so that will be 25 single crochets, and that's a UK double crochet. So let me do that and I'll meet you back at the end of the row. I'm back at the end of the row. I'm going to cut this end here and I'm going to pull a loop through to secure. This is your chain and your foundation row. Now my patterns, I don't include that in the chart, but I do include it in the written instructions and down here, so just check that out if you're starting a pattern. I also recommend that you put stitch markers on the very first stitch and the very last stitch. I can tell you now, it can be quite difficult when you're first starting to identify which is your border stitches, because these will effectively be where your border stitches are. Okay, let's start the next row. So the first row is in B, is in pink. Let's get my pink, and I'm going to start with a border stitch. So to do the work for starting border stitch, the border stitch start, push the hook through both loops of that very first stitch, pull a loop through, chain 1 to secure, and then work a single crochet into the back. That is a starting border stitch. If we look at this row now, it's all completely blank, so I'm going to do single crochet into the back loop right along to my last stitch. So I'll do that and I'll see you there. If you're not sure how to do this where the back loop is, can you see there are 2 loops formed at the top of this stitch? Just work into the top one you can see, that's the back loop. So I'm back now to the end of the row and I'm going to make my border stitch end. It's very similar to a border stitch start. You're going to push your hook through both loops of the stitch and make a single crochet, and then you're going to cut the yarn, pull a loop through to secure. That's your first row done, and they're all single crochets into the back loop with your start and end border stitches. Don't forget to move your stitch markers up. So row 2 is worked in cream, and they're all double crochets in the front loop 2 rows below. So let me show you how to do that. And I'm going to do the border stitch, the starting border stitch as I did before. So I'm going to take this stitch marker out because it gets in the way. So I'm going to push my hook through both loops, pull a loop through, chain 1 and single crochet into that stitch. Now the front loops, let me pull this work out for you. Can you see? There was my stitch here which I worked into the back loop. Here's the remaining front loop here. So I'm going to push my hook from bottom to top under that loop there, and I'm going to work a double crochet Okay, let me show you again. I mean, this one's easier because you've just made that one, it's the next one along. So let's push my hook through from bottom to top and make a double crochet. Okay, now here's where you really should put your stitch marker in, because that is really quite hard to see. So let's put that in now. And I just wanted to say something about people when they get themselves kind of confused with what is the background colour and what is the pattern colour. To be honest, it kind of doesn't make a difference. You just need to decide which colour is which colour along here. So my pink is B because I started with A, which was my starting chain colour. So it just naturally follows that my pink, my next colour will be B. I don't use any hard and fast rules about what's an A and what's a B. I don't know whether any other designers do. But you can see with row 9 that you're starting to build another picture, another heart here with the cream colour. So my question is, what is the design colour and what is the background colour? It can kind of be a bit ambiguous. So my thing is to always check which colour you're being asked to use and what colour you are using. So if you decide to switch this over, so you want like more of a pink background with a white heart and a pink heart in the middle, you'd be swapping over. So B would be cream and A would be pink. I would say make sure you note here at the side what colour you're going to use if it's vastly different to what the chart says. I hope that helps. I'm going to now crochet to the end and then let's discuss some general things that you might have noticed when you're doing your sample. So here's my finished design. I just wanted to point out a few things, and the first one is, remember I said you did alternating colours? Well, you can see at the end I've actually done 2 rows the same colour. This is just because I really like to have a single crochet back loop only row at the end. It kind of makes a nice edging for a border, and it just really focuses the point that you really need to be looking at the pattern to see what colour it specifies. The next thing you'll notice is tails. Now this is sometimes seen as a negative thing, but actually all of this will be covered by an envelope border, but that's for another video. But actually you could make it to a tassel. I mean, you can make a feature of this. I mean, you'd have to have longer tails than this. I mean, there's quite a long tail, that would probably be enough. You'd knot them together, you twist them, you can add extra bits in here to make it thicker. Anything's possible here, and that does actually look really attractive. You've got a nice selvage here. It just looks really nice either way. I'm going to turn it over and show you again these pockets. Now I don't mind them, but there are different techniques you can use, but generally speaking I don't. I think that's fine. And the last thing is, I mean, you can't see it on this design, but that's because I've used quite a thick yarn. So I've used Starcraft Special Aran and a 5 hook. You might see with larger designs it all starts to slope slightly. Don't panic. This is normally sorted out by a little bit of blocking, and the envelope border will sort it out. And the only reason it slopes is because you're working in one direction and you're not coming back the other side. So it's kind of this, stitches don't line up exactly, and so they all do start to lean. So thank you for watching this tutorial. I hope you found it really useful, and if you did, it would be great if you could like and possibly subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments what you think, because it's always really helpful. And I'll see you next time.